What's going on, boys and girls? Hey, listen, today we've got a fragrance from the house of By Kilian, and it's I believe, flanker to one that a lot of you ladies really love. So I'm hoping to shine some light on another concentration of it and think you guys will get a lot of good information out of this one. Ladies, strap up. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Today from the house of By Kilian, we have Love, Don't Be Shy, Eau Fraiche. And for all my ladies out there, and even the men who are watching this, Eau Fraiche, I believe, translates to fresh water. In fact, I pulled up a definition that I want to give you guys. Eau Fraiche is French for fresh water and is the lightest category of fragrance in perfumery. It typically contains very low concentration of fragrance oil, around 1 to 3%, diluted primarily in water and alcohol. It offers a subtle, breezy scent that lasts about 1 to 2 hours. Which, it's funny because a lot of eau de toilettes, eau de parfums, and parfums sometimes, though higher concentration, can last only an hour or two. I'm not going to shout out any names just yet. So this is a lighter concentration of Love, Don't Be Shy. This is classified as a floral fragrance for women. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this was the signature scent of Rihanna before she got her own fragrance. Don't quote me on that one. I believe so. Here's a quote from the brand. Love is life's narcotic, its folly, and its freshness. It is something we return to in spite of ourselves, like any proper addiction. Okay. It is a fragrance for women, not unisex, but take that with a grain of salt. Rated 3.86 out of 5 with 567 votes. I imagine the sample size is smaller because this is one of 3 concentrations of this fragrance. There's Love, Don't Be Shy, I believe Love, Don't Be Shy Extreme, and then Eau Fraiche. All right. I think that's everything. Let's go ahead and dive into this By Kilian fragrance. Can't wait to throw this in the giveaway for my ladies. And already in the air, I get almost like a light marshmallowy sweetness that is dominated by what feels like white pink florals. Nice little soft, powdery, but airy and fresh sillage or projection in the air. I feel like neroli is definitely a part of this too, kind of just this fluffy white air. And yeah, this is pleasant. What I imagine this could offer for women is just a great sweet scent done lighter. I always feel like there's kind of 2 main categories in perfumery in terms of what's most available to women. Again, the bombastic vanillic sweetness and the angelic, typically floral, but can have other facets, angelic kind of skin scent freshness. And this is nice because this operates within that bombastic sweet DNA, but offers a lighter approach to it. So I feel like it gives versatility, but it also gives a nice projective scent that's more gentle and more approachable, something where it's still got a nice gentle sillage, but you're not smelling it from across the room. As soon as you come into someone's aura, now you're enveloped by this kind of sensual, sweet neroli, kind of marshmallowy type scent. On my nose, it's soft and gentle, but it's very much there and present. And it's dominated by kind of this neroli-ish floral sweetness. I feel like there's a heavy dose of kind of this neroli marshmallow thing going on. And I say marshmallow, like imagine buying a bag of marshmallows and then ripping open the bag and putting your nose in it. Kind of that, but then with a heavy injection of neroli. Let's go ahead and see what we're dealing with as far as notes. This is clean. This is slight powdery. This is floral, but it's dominated by kind of this very natural marshmallowy sweetness. And this is beautiful. This really tells the tale here. Neroli, petitgrain, and orange blossom up top. That petitgrain kind of grounding it and giving it more of that nature-esque feel, but not too much because it's dominated mostly by this kind of white floral, clean, and sweet experience. So it opens up with this very floral, clean, neroli freshness, and then transitions into that soft, sweet heart, which makes it not feel as artificial. For a marshmallowy vanillic scent, this does feel quite natural. It's got a very nice ninja-like sillage in the air. Peony, jasmine, freesia, orris root, which is the base of the iris plant, then rose. This isn't a rose scent. This isn't a peony scent, but it does have those little splashes of animation that take it out of being a mostly floral scent. Give it a little bit more animation and transition that whiteness into that sweetness. Base, obviously, I'm glad to see marshmallow there because I know nothing about this scent. This is very much a real first impression for me. Marshmallow, white musk for that nice, just clean sweetness, vanilla, and labdanum. So you've kind of got these 4 items working together for a more characterized dry down. So it's not just a vanillic dry down. It's got some different texture, elegant, angelic texture. I would say this is an angelic approach to the bombastic sweet profile. So it's very much middle of the road. You're not going to feel too natural and shy with this fragrance, but you're also not going to be the loudest, most attention grabbing in the room. But I think it does demand a lot of attention for anybody that walks within 3 to 4 feet of you. They'll immediately be enveloped by this gentle, powdery sweetness. You know, it says in the concentration that this only lasts about 1 to 2 hours. I think that by the time it gets to a skin scent, it should go 4+ at least. Scores here showing moderate longevity and sillage, but maybe it's just more animated in its projection for the first 2 hours, and then it gets a little bit closer. But I think due to the quality of By Kilian, you can be sure that you will be smelled. You know, this thing isn't going to go away. It's just going to sit closer to skin. But the projection on this and the carry and the lift is still very nice. It doesn't feel like it's going to be gone. It just feels like it's going to quiet down. I like this. I love that it's a kind of middle of the road between the 2 modern styles we see the most in perfumery. And this is a very nice scent. What is it like? Juliet has a Gunpowder Love, Sinatra from Memo Paris, Oriana from Parfums de Marly, Prada Candy Kiss. A lot of familiar names here, ladies, that you guys are used to. Reckless from Roja Dove. So there's a lot of options. Even that Le Falcon Risala for you, I believe is probably a clone of it. Floral Marshmallow from Dossier. I mean, Love Don't Be Shy is a very popular name in the niche world, so I imagine there's a lot of profiles that kind of go after it. But Kilian, I believe, does it the best so far from what my nose has been exposed to. But I don't see this being too hard to replicate as far as the smell. But the texture you get with this, the little subtleties, are what give it that elevated niche boost that I think really comes down to the preference of the woman. If she just wants to get to this DNA, you'll have a lot of options. But if you want that kind of premier polish to it, which I think with simpler profiles like this are necessary, going into the By Kilian is definitely a smart consideration. I think also for this particular profile, a lot of women will probably prefer the EDP or the Extreme over this, unless you're the type of woman who likes gentler fragrances. I know my wife really prefers gentler fragrances like this, and so a fragrance like this would be a great entry into the niche space without just kind of having a fragrance that is just so loud. This is nice. Alternatives are some of the ones that I named for you. The Le Falcon, obviously the OG, EDP. But by Kilian is just really killing the game. I just, their attention to detail, their quality, their distinctness in the marketplace, definitely a worthy house, ladies and guys, to get into. I mean, my favorite, Straight to Heaven Extreme, but they have so many bangers. Blue Moon Ginger Dash, Angel Share, Love Don't Be Shy, Sacred Wood. I mean, they just got some heat. Black Phantom. They're a premier brand, but they don't have a lot of like new release announcements. So I feel like they kind of get lost in the niche sauce. But man, talk about just a premier, tried and true brand that really focuses on quality and in making niche. You know, I feel like there's a lot of brands in the niche category that don't belong and should be more in the designer and vice versa. So this is a great fragrance. My score on this is an easy 8 and possibly a 9 in the EDP concentration. Definitely a high 8 because I feel like this scent is mass appeal done with niche intentions and ingredients. Again, I think Aaron Terrence Hughes said it best. You know, when you move into this idea of niche, and again, not the technical definition, which is just a brand that only does fragrance and nothing else, but this concept of niche, which is, to me, perfumers from independent brands or smaller brands that are taking perfumery and putting higher ingredients and a little extra love and craftsmanship in the perfumery and the science and chemistry of it to give you an elevated experience. That's what this represents to me. And so in that regard, I think they did an amazing job. Again, for me personally, as a guy critiquing a feminine scent, I think it's a high 8. And many could probably argue that this is a 9 or 10 signature scent for women. I love it for its versatility. It's not blowing me away with its transition and tons of things going on and all that. Again, I don't think complexity necessarily suggests more perfection. I just think for what this is, you can get a lot of stuff like it. It's in the vein of the bougie Marshmallow and the Kaolis and, you know, a lot of the Fleur stuff. But again, it's got that elevated texture, so that takes it out of average category immediately into the 8. And because of the attention to detail in the blend and texture, I want to push it towards a 9. So that's where I'm at with it, is just an 8 because I don't decimal. But I just want to tell you that I think it's one of the best 8s out there. Again, it leans fall, winter, or anything with a light breeze. But I think it's light enough to be an afternoon scent in spring, summer. The price point on this, I believe they offer it in 50 mil, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 50 mil. And believe it or not, Eau Fraiche is an eau de parfum. Or sorry, no, it's not. The original is an eau de parfum. This Eau Fraiche is a lighter concentration. And then obviously you have the Extreme, which would probably be in the parfum category. Retail, you can get this for about, I think, $375. And let's see, Love Don't Be Shy Eau Fraiche. Let's see what we're discounting at roughly. I'm seeing it as low as $217. $179 actually. $179 is the lowest I've seen. I do actually see a $150, but granted, at the time of this video, we are around holiday. So you can get it between $150 and $200 for 50 mil. I think that's totally appropriate. It will be versatile, signature scent worthy. But yeah, there are a lot of alternatives that cost more, like the $50 to $100 price point. But again, I think this price point is valid. You will get a lot of use out of it. And layerability is another thing to consider. Ladies, this is a very layerable scent. Soft, light floral, neroli heavy, marshmallowish feel. Can go with anything. You know, if you want to go more natural, more naturesque, more floral, more sweet, sweet complement, sweet, sweet analogous, meaning two similar sweet profiles. You can go gourmand with it. There's just a lot of, use case for something like this. Again, this was by Kilian's Love Don't Be Shy Eau Fraiche, the lightest concentration of the 3 that are offered. And I think it's an absolute banger. That by Kilian feel is there and is a great scent that you should definitely get your nose on if you prefer a lighter concentration. Sometimes with lighter concentration, you get a very limited experience. But I think with that limited concentration and experience, the niche brands know how to still make it go past 2 hours. It's just the most loud it will be is in the first 2 hours. But the niche aspect of it is what allows those scents to at least go as a glorified skin scent for much longer and kind of plays a position for the more soft-handed, angelic approach to perfumery that some women prefer over stuff that's loud and bombastic, especially with sweetness. You know, you kind of get around sweetness a lot and stuff all starts to smell like the same thing in the women's category. For me personally, so something like this gives a different feel that makes it last longer in terms of its impression of being a new, desirable concept to most noses. Anyways, I'm getting too sciencey, but this is a fragrance from by Kilian. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. Ladies, have you tried the Eau Fraiche, or are you mostly going towards the EDP and the extreme? I think most women will lean towards that, but I'm really curious to see if any of you have tried the Eau Fraiche. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything I didn't in this video below. Hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week. And until next time, this is SB signing out. Peace.